to the Calcio podcast. Once again, I'm joined by Danny and Franchette. Boys, how's it going?
Hey guys, it's good.
Yeah, I think we're all good. Italy, 3-0 wins against our first two games in the group, and then also Wales 1-0. Not too shabby. Switzerland and Turkey, obviously 3-0, like I said. Great games to watch. Wales is it was a little frustrating, I'm not gonna lie, obviously, because they sat back a lot, but at the end of the day, we got the win. That's all that matters. We're gonna do a couple things in this episode. We'll break down the matches. We'll preview the Austria match, obviously, because they topped the Ukraine. So now Austria will be our next opponent in the round of 16 at Wembley. So we'll be looking forward to that one. And we'll talk about players that stood out to us and all the good stuff. So we're gonna get right into it. To start off, I said we gotta recap these matches. So obviously the Turkey match we already recapped in the last podcast, but we have not been on here since the Switzerland game. So I'll start with that one. Or we can just group them in. You guys can do whatever you want when you're speaking. Just group it in or whatever. But I'll start off here with Switzerland. I think we played amazing again. I think Spinazzola once again showed out. I really thought that Jorginho did his role really well. Locatelli obviously was fantastic. 2 goals. And he just played well even without the goals. He did a really good job. Against Turkey, he looked very nervous. He made a lot of mistakes and errors, which was a little worrying. It was just a little worrying. But since then, he's been good. Obviously, the third match, we didn't see him. He got some rest in along with a lot of other players. But yeah, against Switzerland, he did a really good job. And he could be in the starting conversation and going into round of 16. We'll talk about that a little later on, though. But I was very happy with the performances. I thought up top, I think we did good. I think against Switzerland, Insigne wasn't himself. He made more errors than we're used to seeing, but against Turkey, Insigne was great. And I don't think anyone was really too bad, honestly. I wasn't really disappointed in anyone. Berardi forced a few shots here and there, but nothing too drastic that really annoyed me. So yeah, the Switzerland win was pretty straightforward. Obviously, Chiellini, Bonucci holding it down. Chiellini had to come out pretty early. But hopefully we have him back for round 16. Right now, reports are saying it's unlikely that him and Florenzi will be there, but hopefully by some miracle we have Chiellini back because he was a big help for us. And I think I'll end it there with the Switzerland game, really. There's not much else to put into that other than we played well, we imposed our will, and we got the win. So well done to them. Also, the Wales game. When I saw the lineup, I was worried. 8 new guys in the lineup is always difficult to manage because of the chemistry. But I'm sure in training they're all playing together, and this team's been together for not a long time, but a good enough time where they know how each other play. They play like a club. They begin to compliment a lot by commentators and pundits. So I see it too. They do play like a club. Obviously, a national team's hard to play like a club all year round because you're not with each other all year round. But I think Italy do a really good job of when they play, it looks like they've been together for a long time under the same manager every week practicing. So that's very hard to do, and the chemistry is very hard to make up in a couple of weeks like his other national teams try to. So it's great to see. But individually, I wasn't blown away by anyone. Chiesa won man of the match. I didn't think he played well, but I didn't think he played bad. I do like how he kept attacking Wales constantly, trying to make something happen, which was a breath of fresh air, to be honest, having a young player like that come in and try to impose his will. He made a lot of errors, a couple of chances, but I think he hasn't been able to do a really good job of playing hard when he didn't have the ball as well, and they made it difficult for Wales throughout the whole match. Someone who I think was the man of the match, in my opinion, was Verratti. He came in from injury after not playing for a month and a half. He was incredible. He had the assist to Pessina. Pessina, shout to him. He wasn't even on the squad. He was a reserve, but came in and got the game winner. So kudos to him. He played a great game even without the goal. Similar to Locatelli in the second game. Goal or no goal, they played amazing, both of them, when given the chance. So I think Pessina could be someone off the bench we see a lot in the knockout stages, but yeah, well done to him as well. But yeah, Verratti, he needs to start. He has to. I'm very critical of him over the years. I think Verratti is a great player, but sometimes you don't see his class, and he kind of dwindles a bit. And injuries get him and all this stuff, but I'm hoping the rest of the tournament he can show his class, continue what he did against Wales, and if he can do that, then we'll be in a really good spot. I thought Bastoni was one of the better players on the field as well. He was incredible. He was playing Bale very tight, apart from that one chance that gave up right from the net, the volley. That I don't know how Bale's not hit the net there at least, but that's another story. But I think Bastoni was fantastic. I'd like to see him maybe start if we don't see Chiellini in the round of 16. I think it's a possibility. Acerbi will probably start though, but I'd like to see Bastoni in there. I thought he did a great job. And yeah, overall I'm happy. I have no complaints over anyone at all, to be honest. I thought everyone did a really good job. Jorginho, I don't remember him losing the ball once this whole tournament, to be honest. He's been great, controlling the tempo. And I'm proud of the team. Hopefully they can keep it up. We still got a long way to go, but it's a good start. First team in the Euro history to never concede a goal in the group stage. 7 goal differential in the group. Domination. I'm proud of Italy, proud to be Italian, and hopefully we can continue it. Dan, how are you feeling after those final 2 games of the group?
Yeah, no. So the first game we covered the last week on the podcast, but the final 2 games, Switzerland, I felt like we played very well. It was probably our best game in the tournament, you could argue. Against the Wales, it was, we had a lot of backups, but I didn't really mind the way Italy played. I thought they played a strong game, even with the guys we had in. It was nice to see Mancini as well, bring in Sirigu in the final minutes. I know, like, a few people were saying, oh, isn't that disrespect that he subbed out his goalie? Is Donnarumma hurt? I remember Mancini saying, too, he was part of I think it was the 1990s World Cup team, I believe, or so, where he was an unused sub. And he said that some players don't get the opportunity to play in tournaments, so he wants to get everyone involved as much as he can. So he brought in Sirigu in the final minute so he could just get that feel of playing in a European tournament, even though he might not, like, if it means nothing, like that Donnarumma came out, but it was just class from him to just bring him in, and it shows how class he is as a person, as a manager as well. What is it? We're on if someone can help me here, like a 30 game unbeaten streak or something like that. Like, yeah, very close to that.
30. Yeah, 30 games now.
So that anytime that happens, that means Italy's doing well. And for me, I feel like they can go far in this tournament. The way they just play, they're in form. I feel like they can go far. Austria is going to be a tough match. I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, it could be a cakewalk. Could be a cakewalk." For me, I see it as a tough match because now we're getting to a new season. This is a new tournament. The group stage were one tournament. This was qualifying for the knockout stages, and this is where, for me, the Euros begin. It's going to be a tough match. Austria's got some good players. They got Alba, who's very good. Sabitzer, who can be good on his day. Arnautovic can cause us problems. You got some guys that can cause us problems, but if Italy can play the way they can, I feel like Italy could advance. But going back to Switzerland and Wales, players that stood out to me, Locatelli was phenomenal against Switzerland. Jorginho was phenomenal. Verratti, he made a case that he should start. The guy had, I think, 103 passes, a 93% completion for his passes against Wales, which is unbelievable. In his first game back in 7 weeks, got the assist on a beautiful set piece to Pessina, who fished it nicely. So Pessina also could be one guy that Italy can bring in just to create a spark if they need to. And Chiesa, too, made a little case for himself that he could potentially start the knockout stages over Berardi. I really like the way Chiesa played. There's a few times where I thought he could do better with the ball, but overall, I didn't mind the way he performed. And for me, Bastoni, you can argue this guy was probably behind Chiellini Bonucci. He's our third best defender. The guy was like an old school defender who's winning headers over Bale, stepping up, keeping Bale in his pocket, you could say, besides that one chance you mentioned, Enzo, early on, where Bale had the volley, and with his quality, he should be hitting the net at least. But for me, Bastoni should start against Austria if Chiellini isn't fit enough. And for me, I really didn't mind the way Emerson played as well. So for me, like, I know Spinazzola is going to be a starter at 100%, and I'm not going to argue that. But for me, if, say, Spinazzola, knock on wood, hopefully if he was a little nicked up heading into the Austria game, I wouldn't mind Emerson starting as well, because Emerson played very well on the left side, and especially now when Insigne slots back in, he's going to have that chemistry with Insigne. So our left side for me is part of one of our strongest points in this tournament, and we just need our midfield to play well, like they have been, whoever's been playing. So it's going to be an interesting matchup against Austria, but I think Italy could prevail.
Yeah, very well said. I think, like Enzo and Danny said here, Italy have been perfect this tournament. Everyone's been talking about how Belgium went 3-0, but the way Italy have been playing is what you're expecting. At the beginning, they called Turkey these dark horses, and Italy thrashed the dark horses. They said Switzerland's going to be harder than Turkey. They have better attacking talents, and they couldn't do anything against the defense of Italy. We thrashed them 3-0. And then against Wales, we're like, okay, we need this win, because if Wales somehow win, we're finishing second in the group, and we played our B team, and we still won. And although it wasn't like the 2-0, 3-0 classic domination, we played extremely well against Wales starters with our B team, and even a couple of players that should be on our C team. So I think the way this entire group, this 26 player roster is playing, is just, you could slot anyone in for anyone, and it won't even make that big of a difference. We saw how we lost Chiellini, which is a big loss. I really hope he recovers for the quarterfinals, round of 16, back to full fitness, because we're going to need him in the later rounds. But you saw Bastoni just came in and he slotted in. And obviously we saw Locatelli in the first game had a little of those nerves, and now they're gone. So hopefully Bastoni, it was just the first game nerves, with that man marking with Bale, because a couple of chances he should have done a little better there. But for the most part, he played phenomenal. He played amazing. Play with the best center back in the world right now, Leonardo Bonucci, so, makes his life a little easier. He's not playing with bums at Inter. But
oh my god.
But this is, like Danny said, this is where the real tournament begins, the knockout stages. The group stage is nice. It's good to celebrate the victories, the important victories, the play style Italy's been playing. And now people are starting to give credit Italy deserve. At the beginning here in Canada, we listened to TSN, and they didn't give Italy any credit. The only person who gave Italy credit on that panel was Janine Becky, so shout out to her. But now we have players like Daniel Sturridge saying Italy's the real dark horse. I think they're going to go to the finals. So it's good to see the whole world kind of saying, oh shit, we were wrong. This Italy team's really good now. So now we kind of have more eyes on us. Instead of just proving people wrong, we gotta prove ourselves right and show that this Italy team's capable of winning it all and going far in the tournament. And that starts with Austria. It's gonna be a tough game, like Danny said. They're gonna be playing very tough, because they know if you lose, you're going home, and obviously they don't want to go home. But we're gonna have to show them why Italy's better. Hopefully we keep our clean sheets still alive here. I don't want to concede this entire tournament. I want to be like 2017 Juve, minus the final. And keep scoring. Like Danny said, Chiesa, he kind of gives me glimpses of Ronaldo in a sense. He starts off really well, and when he's playing good, he's playing amazing. But when he starts missing chances, he gets frustrated and starts forcing chances, which kind of worries me a bit. So if Chiesa could kind of play with the team a little bit more, kind of get used to that, I think he'll be fantastic. I think he should start. But if Chiesa starts going, okay, I didn't score here, I gotta force a shot here, I gotta force a shot here, then that's we're gonna see a couple of big problems there, and I think that's what Mancini needs to work on. And if he sees that at mid-game, just take him off. It's not worth it, because we gotta win. If a player's being selfish, take him off and just let him know for the next game what's happening and all that. But other than that, Verratti starts over Barella, I think. I think he just deserves it. And then Barella to come off as a super sub. But other than that, the team should be untouched unless any injuries come up in training or whatnot. But for the most part, this Italy team's scary, and a lot of teams should be scared of us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I agree completely. I think this Italian team is a special one. I think you heard Bonucci say it a couple times. You've seen a lot of players mention it. And even Belotti, how he said that they have a bitter taste in their mouth from 2018 Ventura,
yeah.
and they're carrying it with them throughout this tournament, which is a good thing, to channel that energy in the right way and hopefully push us towards a title here. And we're going to win the Euros. That'll be amazing. But
Yeah.
if we can go far, at least I'll be happy.
I was just gonna say too, like going back to like anyone who plays who comes into the lineup and it shows like even last game against Wales, they did their job and that's why Italy were good. Guys like Spinazzola didn't play, no problem. Emerson played pretty well in my opinion. Bastoni came in for Acerbi and he was paired up with Acerbi in the second half because Bonucci they subbed off Bonucci. He played pretty well. Toloi came in for Di Lorenzo. He didn't play too bad. Verratti came into the lineup for his first game, played awesome. Pessina played well. Jorginho played like Jorginho. Bernardeschi came in for Insigne. That guy now we all see why he shouldn't be on the team, but that's a different story. Belotti, he had a few chances, but for me he wasn't as bad. I thought I was wanting him to get a goal, but I know for you, maybe it's better that he didn't get the goal because then Torino would have won like 80 million for him or something. But
Yeah.
Chiesa too, he didn't play as bad. But I'm gonna go back to a point I heard, from a podcast I started listening to, recently. FC Wonder Kid, if, you guys haven't heard of them, very good podcast. What he said, one guy said it best. He goes, Italy, like if you look at their team, yeah, you can consider maybe Immobile as a superstar, but the whole team you have to look at as a superstar, and which I found very like like it's true because Italy don't have like those superstars, say like a Kevin De Bruyne, like a Lukaku, like a Ronaldo, like Mbappe, um, say like say maybe in Netherlands case like a Van Dijk or something. Italy have 11 guys who are stars for their team, and they have a great core. And that's why I believe Italy could win the Euros because they have 11 guys that can make you, okay, we'll say 10 guys, because I'm not going to count Donnarumma as in this point, but that can score and that can hurt you. So I feel like Italy, for me personally, I'm not trying to be biased by any means. I think if they can continue the way they are playing and they all continue to contribute in their own ways, I think this team can go far. And Ed, you said best too a few on the podcast last time. This is just a warm up for the World Cup. So if Italy can make some noise in the Euro Cup, watch out because we'll be even more dangerous, which to say the likes of Zaniolo and Pellegrini next year for the World Cup.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think all of these nations have this one guy you look at, and he's like, oh, wow, this guy's gonna carry us to the tournament. Oh, he's our guy. Well, we don't have a guy, we have a team, and that team's been playing pretty damn well, so hopefully they can keep it
Yeah.
up. Another thing I want to bring up, I know Danny touched on it a bit, players that stood out for Italy. Now, if I had to choose maybe two or three players I thought really stood out the most, everyone played well, but who stood out the most to me, I'd have to probably go with Locatelli, Jorginho, and Spina, in my opinion. I think Luka, like I said before, first game, very, very shaky, which is normal. Plays for Sassuolo, doesn't have a lot of big games in his career. Maybe the match against Juve when he scored that bar down. But apart from that, not many big games, like hasn't been in Europe or any of that. So, yeah, nothing too crazy for Luka, experience-wise, but after that first game, second game, I think he was like, okay, I'm good here. I'm comfortable. My team believes in me, and let me play the way I know I can play. And he did. Played well, got 2 goals. So I thought Luka looked really good in that second game. Obviously, third game, he did not feature like many other starters didn't, but he really impressed me, and I think his star is growing day by day. Jorginho, Jorginho's a guy who I used to love watching when he was at Napoli. I really do appreciate the players who make the basics their best attribute. What I mean by that is, a lot of these midfielders and strikers or any position really get hailed for these crazy things they do, like Ramos defensively, his crazy tackles, or Mbappe, his pace and skill and maybe Conte, how he's over the pitch. Jorginho's very simple, and I think this Italy team needs someone like Jorginho there. He controls the tempo. He knows what pass to make and when to make it and where to play it. Like, he knows what he needs to do and when to do it at all times. And it's incredible to watch. Like I said before, I don't remember Jorginho losing the ball, like, at all.
Yeah.
He's very good at taking the ball away as well. He's calm. And, he's a very, like I said, he's a very calming presence on the field. And I think, his teammates really appreciate that and must feel it when they're on there. Cause just watching it, I feel it. So I can only imagine how I was playing with him. So yeah, Jorginho really impressed me. Spina, I know he surprised a lot of people. To me, he's not really a surprise. Having watched him for Roma for the last 2 years, obviously when he first came to Roma, he wasn't nowhere near as good as he is right now. But for about, since I think June of 2020, that's when the Spina we see right now came alive. When Fonseca moved to the back three, we played him as a wing back, and since then he's been incredible. I don't remember him having a bad game last year, maybe one or two, but nothing's really coming to mind right now. He's been great. He's been a big part of this Italy team. And I think one thing I noticed against Wales is that a lot of our attacks does come from Spina overlapping Insigne and just starting from that left side and then going to the middle and working it around, or Spina will play a cross in, or he'll cut in and play to Insigne, who I'd look for a shot or look for someone back post, like the classic Calcio run when Calcio was at Napoli. Look for that pass to someone like Berardi. But without Spina, you saw a very big difference in Italy's attack. And it's the same with Roma. When Spina does not play, our attack is not the same whatsoever. And even defensively, Spina was fantastic. I think it was that game against Turkey when he tracked back and saved a goal that could have been a goal from Under when he was through. He caught up. He's done very well those 2 games he played, and I think a lot of Italy fans are surprised, and I think he'll keep it up. It's not something that's unsustainable. He's done this for a long time now, so I'm very pleased with those 3 guys. But Dan, I know you mentioned a little bit before, but maybe go into a little bit more detail of those guys that really impressed you and stood out.
Yeah, for me, I have the same players. I have Spinazzola, Locatelli, and Jorginho even. For me, Locatelli, yeah, the first game against Turkey, he wasn't himself. You could tell he was kind of a little bit nervous. He didn't know what to expect. But the second game against Switzerland, the guy, I can argue he played like Pirlo in that game. He was just unbelievable. He was a very good midfielder against Switzerland. And I feel like as the tournament goes on, we need him to be big against Austria because Austria are a tough team. But I think if he can continue that form against the way he played against Switzerland, I think Italy will dominate dominate the mid, and dominate the game. Jorginho, like Enzo said, for me, I don't remember either him losing the ball. This is the Jorginho I remember at Napoli, but I will argue this is a better version of that. And you could tell there's a few times where he looks like he was gonna get out, like he was gonna lose the ball in like a terrible situation, and just simple dribbles around the player, calmness he has on him. It's unbelievable. I even said last time, Jorginho is calm as a cucumber, and he's just so inspirational sometimes where he gets the ball, he picks out the right pass at the right time, doesn't force anything. He makes sure the play is calm, controls the tempo of the game, which is something that in the midfield nowadays you need. You need one guy that can just control the play, calm the play down. You need a guy that can create and a ball winner. And Italy have that. Even with Verratti, the guy can create. And with Barella, the guy's a box-to-box midfield who can create and who as well can win the ball back. And then you have Locatelli, who seems he can do both. He can win the ball back, create from a deep playmaking role, and he can also provide offense where he scored 2 goals against Switzerland. And he made a beautiful run into the box for his first goal. So I think Italy's midfield is going to be very, very important for these up-and-coming matches. And the first 3 games showed our midfield depth and the quality we have. And then we're going to go with Spinazzola. For me, Spinazzola, you can argue him and Gosens are probably the 2 best left backs in this tournament. Spinazzola he's incredible. And I don't watch him week in and week out with Roma, but when I do watch Roma games, for me, he's always one guy that stands out. And Prece, I'm sorry, but Juve messed up on that deal where
Dan,
Luca
trust me, I know.
where Luca Pellegrini was sent to Juve and Spinazzola was you could say rejuvenated kind of at Roma. For me, he's probably the best left back in the tournament. Him and Gosens, I can argue, both Serie A players. So glad we get to see them week in and week out in the Serie A. Hopefully, one day I can say that about Napoli. I haven't said that really much in a few years, but for me, those are the three players that stood out to me. And I won't be surprised if next podcast, as if you ask the same question, who stood out for me, like for us during the Austria game, if we're gonna have three different players.
Yeah, you never know. This team is very deep, so anyone can step up at any time. So that's the good thing about Italy. We have a 26-man squad, and they're all very good players. So we're lucky to have them. But for Chet, your three standouts. I have a feeling you might go a different route, but we'll see what you say.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a complete different route here. Obviously, we all watch the City. We kind of know who's good, and who's shit. So, but for the people who don't watch the City, like many of these analysts, who commentate on the games and, analyze the game and just watch for the Euros, a lot of people are a big surprise for them. So I'm kind of want to go into their shoes. So my first is Spinazzola. I've known he's been fantastic since he's been on Juve, and Allegri decided to ship him out. Roma, you guys robbed us, but it's okay. I think he's been the player of the tournament so far. What he's been doing on the ball and off the ball has just been incredible to watch. Then I would have to go with Locatelli. I don't think half the analysts know what a Sassuolo is. Never mind know what Locatelli is. So, the way he's been playing in the Euros, you have the likes of Manchester City and PSG kind of trying to take Juve's player over here. And, it's not going to work, but they're going to try because of his performances in the Euros. Just been sublime. And then my third player, I'm not going to go with Jorginho, even though he's been fantastic, just because a lot of the people know what Jorginho is capable of because he plays for Chelsea. I'm going to go with Giorgio Chiellini. And that's only because I think a lot of people thought, oh, Chiellini's an old man. He's finished. He's washed up. What's he going to do? And he's been, as much as I love Bonucci, he's been the best defender at the Euros. He's been getting in those tackles like he's a 25-year-old center back in his prime, and he's 36. And I saw like a lot of comments from English fans or like Premier League fans who claim they're Italian when they watch the Euros that Chiellini's been 36 for 10 years. He's just been that good. He's been that incredible. So I would have to give him the third spot for me.
Yeah, fair enough. Chiellini's been excellent, and I do agree. He has been our best defender and maybe the best in the tournament. Yeah, he's been great. So
he hasn't conceded. So.
Hopefully he can recover for the Austria game. Even if he doesn't start, just him off the bench, it's still present for us.
He said he'll be off the bench or start. He doesn't know yet, but he said he's planning to be there.
Yeah, hopefully he's all good to go. But it's looking like him and Florenzi won't be starting as of right now. But hopefully that changes as the week progresses. But one quick question for both of you. Just say like outright. I'll go first here. Who do you think should start in the midfield going forward? For me personally, I have Barella, Jorginho, Verratti. Vince?
I kind of took a different approach. I went with Locatelli, Jorginho, and Verratti. I just think the 2 goals like kind of solidified his place in.
And
for me, I picked,
Dan?
Yeah, I would probably go. It's tough, but for me, I would go with Verratti, Jorginho, and Locatelli.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I think Italy's got so many midfielders that I think our...
It's a problem. That's a great problem to have.
Exactly. Yeah. I think our bench's midfield is probably better than a lot of people's starting midfield, so that's great to see. And keep in mind, this isn't even our full strength midfield. A lot of guys are out.
Yeah,
Sensi, who won his days amazing. Pellegrini, our captain of Roma, he's been fantastic. Just imagine we're full strength. It would be a scary side.
And yet the guys we have on the bench, say like Castrovilli and
Pessina,
those guys are good midfielders as well.
Very
Castrovilli, remember last year how we were debating if Castrovilli could get snubbed for the Euros because that's how good our midfield was playing, even last year too. And Calcio last year was one of the best midfielders in Italy.
Yeah.
He had an underrated season, very good midfielder. Obviously he had a big decline this season, but he's still a good midfielder on this day. And even Pessina too, he proves he should belong in this team.
Yeah, no, I agree. We got an abundance of talent and midfielders especially. So, yeah, you can't really go wrong with anyone. Now to top up this pod, Austria boys Saturday at Wembley. It's going to be a big game. I'm looking forward to it. Let's just dive into it a little bit. Did you guys get a chance to watch them against Ukraine?
Yeah.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, so I watched them against Ukraine, and I got to watch back a little bit of their games. I remember watching a friendly of theirs about a couple months ago, maybe 2 months ago, a month ago. It was on some streaming service, and yeah, I got a chance to watch them a bit. They do have guys I like, obviously. I think everyone knows who I'm going to bring up first, Alaba. He's he's such a great player. I think he has 2 assists in the tournament, if I'm not mistaken. He's all over the pitch, obviously predominantly on the left side, but he's kind of like speed on the way. He gets forward, he gets back, he creates, he defends, he does everything. He's a workhorse, and he's a big part of what Austria do. So I think Italy's first objective would be to kind of slow him down and maybe double him when he's on the wing trying to make a run, close down him quick, maybe get someone like Di Lorenzo and Verratti to really close down him like straight away. Straight away. Don't let him get any speed. Don't let him get any just pace going ahead. Just stop him as soon as you can. And I think that'll be a big thing for us to do in the game. Obviously made a big move to Real Madrid, so congrats to him. But yeah, he's a great player, and I think that'll be a really big objective and task. We got to really do our best to contain him. So hopefully we can do that. Also, Sabitzer, I think he's a great player. He's very annoying to play against. His shot is fantastic. He's a workhorse, like I said, of Alaba. He's a very hard-nosed player. In the midfield, he's very tough. And I enjoy watching him. I think he's a great player. I believe he's a free agent. I'd like if Roma could look into it. Any other Serie A team, any team really in Europe really like someone like that on the team. He's a very good player. So I think Sabitzer would be a very what's the word I want to use here? He's a very important player to look out for. We can't let him slip away, because if he unleashes that shot, it's going to be hard to stop him. So let's watch out for him. Another player, Arnautovic, for his club. I don't watch too much of him, but I do see him for the national team, and he's not bad. He's good on his day. When he's having a good day, he's having a really good day, but he can be off, and I don't think he has anything he can really offer to Chiellini if he starts, or Bastoni, or Bonucci, or really anyone. I don't think he has much that they haven't seen before, and I wouldn't be too worried about him, but he can, put a chance away if he gets the opportunity, so try to limit him. And I'm not too worried about him, to be honest. So he's one of the ones where I think we should be able to handle him pretty easily. Lenier, who is a very good player at the back there. He's been solid for Austria. Once again, a hard-nosed player. Even Lamier with an M this time. He's good. He's actually very good. I think he's been one of the players I really enjoyed watching in the tournament so far. So he's another one where you just can't let him slip away. He's all over the pitch. He runs like a maniac, and he brings that intensity to Austria. I think he's the engine, kind of like Barella to Inter. And he hasn't really been that for us so far, Barella, but he's been very good when he's been on. It's not that Barella we're used to seeing, but that's what he brings to Austria. He's a workhorse, and he's everywhere. He brings an intensity. He's a very intense player. So we got to try and just stop him, which we should be able to. Our midfield's incredible, so I'm not too worried about him either. But another player comes off the bench. The last player I'm going to really bring up from Austria, Kalajdzic. He is 6'6", I believe. Comes off the bench for them.
6'7", like
yeah, he's a big threat.
Yeah, maybe a power forward in the NBA or something. Like it's.
Yeah, he's a very big guy, and I enjoy watching him, to be honest. I think he's a good striker. He holds up to play well. I used to watch a lot of Leipzig when Schick was there, because obviously I'm known for Roma, and I still like Patrick Schick. I think he has very good qualities as a player and can go far if he stays fit. But yeah, when I'd watch Leipzig, I'd see him at Stuttgart, and he's a very good player. I think he's 23 years of age. I'm not too sure though. But for Austria, when he's come in, he held up to play well. He He can win headers, obviously, with that height, you're going to win headers. And he's someone we got to watch out for when we're tired later on in the game. They might bring him in to change things up. So let's look out for him as well. But honestly, I'm very confident. I do believe Italy should win with little to no problems. I expect us to win this handily. And I don't care if we win 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, but I don't care. Just win the game. Even if we concede 2-1, whatever, just win the game, and I'll be happy. Because at the end of the day, it's all that matters in these tournaments. It's one game. There's no aggregates, none of that stuff. Just win the game. Dan, how are you feeling going into Austria?
Yeah, no, for me, the way Italy's been playing, obviously I'm a little bit confident heading into the game, but I don't want to be too confident because then I'll be very disappointed if they don't go through. But Austria are a tough side. They got some good players, like you mentioned, and even just that last game against Ukraine, they were the better side. Ukraine couldn't put a pass together. They were just too sloppy in the end. Austria controlled the tempo of the game. So they're going to come into Wembley against Italy hungry and trying to provide a huge upset in the tournament. But Italy just need to remain focused, get the job done, like you said, and get the 1-0 win, get maybe a 2-0 win just to solidify that statement. But I feel like if Italy can play like they can, they'll go through. Guys like Insigne, Immobile, Baradi, Chiesa, whoever starts at the attack, need to be clinical in this game. Even our midfield too, they have to dominate the pitch. I feel like if we can dominate the middle of the park, I feel like Italy will have their way against Austria. I won't be surprised if Austria do sit back, try to absorb that Azzurri pressure early on, and then capitalize later on, like try to catch them on the counter with Alaba and Sabitzer running the wings or the length of the park, I should say. But also too, Austria are a team that it's a one and done game. So who knows if they're going to try to force us maybe to go extra time, maybe go penalty shootouts and trying to eliminate us there. But they really need to play their game. They can't get frustrated early. Just everyone has to play well. All 11 guys who are playing have to play well. That goes from Di Lorenzo to Donnarumma to Spina to the defense, the midfield, and the attack. So I feel like Italy could get I'd say it could be a scrappy game for Italy, maybe a 1-0 win, like you said, ends. But also, I feel like if guys like Insigne and Immobile and Spinazzola can play well, I feel like this could be a dangerous game for Austria because if you can't stop Spinazzola and he has his way through the whole game, it's going to be a long game for them. So it's going to be an interesting one. I'm excited for Saturday, and hopefully the Azzurri can win and advance to the next round.
Yeah, very well said. For me, I gotta think of the best. I'm hoping Chiellini's starting. And with that, I think the only thing I'm scared of is, like Danny said, every team we played, they're scared of us. They kind of sit back and try to counter us. And when teams do that, Italy kind of play with the ball a little more. They're more dominant. They have more possession. They kind of toy around with the opponent just because there's the space there is so tight. You can't really get past anything. There's no openings, so they kind of just play with the ball up until they kind of pinch and get that opening for a nice ball into the box or a nice long shot opportunity or whatever needs to happen for a shot on target for a potential goal. And I think that's what Italy's going to do against Austria. The only thing that scares me this time is if Chiellini does play, which I hope he does, he gets bored in the back very easily. I think we've seen it throughout the games he's played. When the teams are sitting back, he gets bored and he kind of wants to be part of the attack. He doesn't want to just like sit there like the other defenders. And when Spinazzola is part of the attack and Di Lorenzo or Florenzi, whoever will play there, is part of the attack, and then Chiellini just runs up because he wants to be part of the attack because he sees that Italy can't really be advancing because there's nowhere to advance to. He kind of wants to help out there. And he gets excited to play up top, and then he passes a ball, and then he runs more forward because he gets excited to get that goal or get that chance created. Then they hit us on the counter, and it's only Bonucci back. I think that's the only thing that worries me about this Austria team is their dangerous counterattack. But it's mainly Alaba and Sabitzer that scare me. I'm not scared of Arnautovic. He's a West Ham reject. He plays in China now. Doesn't really scare me that much. But like Enzo said, he just needs one shot and it could go in. One shot that Donnarumma was not paying attention to because he hasn't been tested this tournament yet. He's been sipping tea inside the net. Bonucci and Chiellini have been tested a couple of times where they had to make some crucial tackles, which they have. But I think off that counter, if it's just Bonucci back and Chiellini's trying to run back and he's not fast enough, I think that could be really dangerous. And it's going to be up to Donnarumma trying to make an incredible save, which we're looking forward to. So hopefully that doesn't happen, and hopefully we stay grounded and composed, calm, cool, and we get a win. It just takes one goal. All we need is one goal, and we'll see how fast they want to attack to try to tie it up, and then we'll just bury them in the ground. We just need to get that first goal. It's the most important thing, and we'll come up with a win if we get that.
Yeah, I think the worst case scenario would be conceding some unlucky goal or some corner early on, and then them just sitting back and they're trying to break them down.
Well, they're gonna sit back regardless. They're gonna sit back.
If they're ahead, then they'll have they won't commit add-on once. They'll sit back the whole game, and
I agree.
It'll be very tough from there. So we need to avoid conceding any stupid goals right away.
We need to. For me, I feel like Italy. Like if you thinking about it, I think Italy, once they get their first goal, I think it'll open up more, and that's when we can expose them more. Which we saw with Turkey, where Turkey were sitting back for, I want to say the first 55 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And then when Baradi got that cross where Nemanja got the own goal, then we started seeing more Turkey committing guys forward and Italy exposing them. So that's what Italy has to do. They have to get the first goal, which they have in all three games. Obviously they have to get the first goal, and they have to set the tempo from there. Set the tempo, get the first goal. If they can get an early goal, say in the first 25 minutes, I think that can set up the match, and that can put Italy in a good position to advance. So it's going to be interesting. I'm excited for Saturday, and hopefully we can get together to watch the game.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's been a great pod. I've really enjoyed this one. I've enjoyed the Euros as a whole. Not only Italy, it's all the games. That Portugal-Germany game was probably my favorite one to watch so far. It's been great. Euros is always a great time, get together with people at Market Lane to celebrate, and you watch all these games with your family, your friends, so it's been a great time.
Yeah, it's just been a shame. Saturday I have to go to work, so my celebrations have to get cut short at Market Lane, but
maybe it's a good thing for Market Lane.
I've been living the party at Market Lane, celebrating with the people, and I think that's my favorite part, just celebrating as one. I was jumping around and I found out the guy was an Inter fan, We don't mix, but when it comes to the Azzurri and the Euros, we're all one. And I think that's the most magical part about this.
Yeah, Richard really looks forward to the Market Lane. I wish you guys could see what we see.
If you guys are in the area, come to Market Lane Saturday. I'll only be there for an hour, unfortunately. But after the quarters, if we win, if you guys are in the area, come to Market Lane. You'll see a different French on the streets of Market Lane than the podcast.
Yeah, so when French acts like he does, we just claim we all know him, so we just stay 10 feet back from him, and we just let him do his own thing.
I bring the noise to Market Lane. I make sure it's not quiet. I make sure that there's constant honking and yelling and screaming.
Yeah, trust me, we know. But if you guys want to see even 2% of what we see, go on our Instagram and
it's on our reels
and our Twitter. Yeah, it's on our reels and on Twitter. It's on the video form. So there's a lot of great stuff on there from all three matches after the win. And go check us out even on Facebook. We have some videos on there from Market Lane. So we've been enjoying it. We're looking forward to the remainder of the Euros. Hopefully it's not just one more game left. Hopefully we got 4 more games left at least. So we're looking forward to it. Thank you for listening. I've enjoyed it. We'll see you after we beat Austria. Ciao.
Yeah.
Okay.